Believe it or not, I was actually doing research. By the way, the headline of this episode, it's pretty good.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Oh, what is this? What is this?
All right. Did I do this right? Yes, I did.
What? What is going on?
I was sitting there in silence, waiting for the clock to roll over. You seemed very deep in thought, Paul.
I'm trying to figure stuff out, Brad. We live in a mysterious world.
Do we?
Yes. Yeah, in many ways, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, one of the mysterious things about this episode is, for some reason, both of us are a little yellow. Like, the coloring is...
Yeah, the jaundice is setting in.
Mm-hmm.
You're so yellow, it's probably just flashing onto me. I don't know. I'm sorry. How you doing, buddy?
My brain was trying to figure out how to interpret that. I'm like,
yeah, I know. It's just
like
sometimes it just seems weird.
It just babbles out. So, Paul, I'm gonna I'm gonna make a, I don't know, an educated
Blanket
guess
statement.
here.
Yep.
An educated guess here. So, word out of Bloomberg, and actually we've been hearing this for a while, is that Mr. iTunes is going to go the way of the dodo.
Yep.
And they're going to break it into 3 apps, something like music.
Like they already have on iOS.
Yes. They're basically going to replicate that model. But what are the odds that these are going to show up in the Microsoft Store, right next to iTunes?
Right. Somewhere between the odds that aliens are real.
Well, actually, hold on.
Okay.
I would argue that those odds are really high, personally speaking. Maybe not.
Well, aliens
Earth.
as we understand them. In other words, flying around in UFOs around the Earth.
Well, yes, that would be
Yeah, I agree with you that the odds are very strong that life exists elsewhere in the galaxy. Yeah,
hopefully they're smarter than us. But anyways.
God knows. And if they are, please, the nuclear weapons are available. Just make it happen and start from scratch, because we really mucked this thing up. Year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whenever it was, an Apple kind of talked about bringing iTunes to Windows, or if Microsoft talked about it first, whatever it was. I thought to myself, they've already moved to a more modern app architecture on iOS. Like, why wouldn't they just make more modern apps and put them on Mac and Windows, And the other thing they could do, by the way, would be to make all of that stuff available via the web, and that would solve a lot of problems. They wouldn't have to make an app.
Mm-hmm.
They've done neither. There's the rumor you're referring to where they're going to bring it to the Mac. I can't think that Windows is particularly strategic to the success of their media ecosystem. the one qualifier there, I mean, like I said, like if they just put it on the web, even in kind of tough form, that would answer the criticism, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see them bring iMessage to the web or anywhere other than a phone. But, you know, here we are, just twiddling thumbs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The app thing, it's weird. Like iTunes itself was always a very old-fashioned app. I described it on Twitter today the way I described it, 10 or 15 years ago, or whatever, which is like, it looks like DBase 3 to me. It's like a database. It's just an old-fashioned looking thing. And it's also a kind of a traditional desktop app like Microsoft Outlook, where it does a bunch of different stuff inside one shell, the Windows Media 7 and subsequent versions of Windows Media Player were like that as well, like kind of an all-in-one, it does everything kind of a deal.
Yep.
When we move to mobile, we see something that's more akin to like the Unix approach, where every app in this case does something very specific. So Apple has a podcast app, they have a music app, they have now they call it a TV app. I don't know. Does that even make sense on desktop? And I don't know. Maybe not, but it doesn't really matter because maybe that's not how most people enjoy that content anyway. So who cares if it's a little less efficient? I don't know. But yeah, to your point, anyway, 20 minutes later. No, I bringing it to Windows. Let's talk around this as much as we can. I just don't see it as a priority for them.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
I hope you're wrong too, but I would think that if it comes to Windows, it's just going to come as a traditional app. It's not going to come in the store.
Well, like what would come to Windows, right? Like does an Apple Music app even make sense on Windows? Does an Apple Podcast app make any sense? No, I would say no.
I think you could argue the music app does, though.
Yeah. Well, like I said, web would be.
Well, yeah, but if it was web would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. Web would make a lot more sense, but I think people have kind of moved on. Most people, when I say people, people, like obviously there were old-fashioned people or people who prefer iPods even or whatever. But, I think people by and large, most people generally speaking, enjoy music off of a phone today, and that's Apple Music is available everywhere. It's on iPhones, it's on Android. The one thing I think really needs to be an app on Windows is the TV app, right? A way to bring all of that content that you might have purchased or TV shows you're well, I guess you are purchasing, movies you've rented or whatever it is. That's the one thing. Big screen makes sense for that kind of thing. And I just don't see it happening, but I think they should do it.
Yep. We'll see. When is that Monday?
WWDC?
Yeah.
WWW?
I think it is Monday.
Is it Monday? Jeez, that came right
I
up
know
on
traditionally they have their stuff on a Tuesday, but this is the developer conference, and they're just going to copy Microsoft and move everything to a Monday. That's not true.
They were going to copy Microsoft. They put it on top of Google I/O.
Yeah. When is WWDC?
Then the world would explode. Could you imagine Apple and Google having a developer show at the same time?
There's not enough Twitter.
They'd have to invent space cars so people could drive up and down through Silicon Valley to get to both places,
Let me see. This is valuable time on a podcast looking June 3rd through the 7th.
So June 3rd must be Monday.
Yep. Excellent.
Yep. So good. Actually, I'm kind of glad it's Monday.
Not
next Monday.
Because I'm leaving like Wednesday afternoon of next week to go to Hawaii on your credit card from American Express.
I sent them an email, but what Brad's referring to is I got an email from United that I now forget the exact wording of it, but it basically said, here's more fun stuff to do on the trip you plan to, Hawaii or whatever. I'm like, I didn't book a trip to Hawaii. So I wrote back, they had an email at the bottom for like the mileage thing and like a general United email. And I was like, dear geniuses, thank you for making me look at every single one of my credit cards for fraud, as I did not book a Hawaiian a trip, vacation or whatever. Like, why on earth would you send out an email like this? It's just stupid. Stupid.
Better you than me.
Wish I was going to Hawaii.
Yeah, so do I. We're going to a nice beach, but it's not Hawaii. Although it is much more convenient to get there, but their pineapple will not be as good.
Right.
Unfortunately.
And you leave Monday? Is that right?
No, we're leaving Wednesday afternoon.
Okay. Oh, because you're going to be gone for the straight week, and then we'll see you in DC the following, whatever that is, Monday or Tuesday.
I think I think we get into DC Tuesday night, something like that, and then shift happens and DC happens.
Yep. In a weird confluence, my wife is going to drive to DC on Thursday, and then we're going to stay a couple of extra days, and then we're going to drive home.
Wow.
But I'm flying to DC, so I actually booked a one-way trip. Yeah.
Make sure to put some fertilizer in your backpack, or fertilize the lawn before you get on that one-way trip to DC. I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's a one-way trip to DC, not to Quantico, or to I don't know the name of some prison. I don't know, whatever. Quantico, I guess, is the FBI headquarters. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, you typically don't. Anyways, so Paul, do you remember a Smitten 24 hours ago? We started talking about Game Pass, and I said, hey, it's going to be included with Ultimate for free.
Right.
Remember this? Remember this?
I do.
So it's a little bit of evidence to back that up was shipped my way. Actually, it was just on Twitter, which you can maybe see right there.
Yep.
Which that is a Xbox Game Pass Ultimate prepaid card, which includes PC, console, gold, 3 months of it, over 100 high-quality games.
What was the price for 3 months? $45?
$47.95.
I'm still, a little nervous about the price escalation on this thing.
Yeah. The other big question, which Rich Woods actually smartly brought up on Twitter, he's like, so what happens to Xbox Play Anywhere? Because that is kind of it. I honestly suspect, though, that people who bought a game on it, like Forza, let's use Forza, for example. You buy Forza on the console, the idea is that, hey, you can go play it on your PC for free and play it anywhere. I strongly suspect that many people did not take advantage of that, because why would you buy it on your console if you wanted to play it on the PC?
Yeah, all right, two things to this. First of all, the big difference here is Xbox Play Anywhere is mostly about purchases versus subscription, right?
True, so, very true.
Whatever. I agree with you. People who are going to play a game on an Xbox are not typically going to pick it up on a PC later and play some more and then go back and forth. But this is, there's a lot of stuff like this in the Microsoft world, and I would say in tech in general, where you describe this scenario. You're like, imagine you're sitting on the couch and you're playing this awesome game of Forza or whatever, and the alarm goes off and it's like, oh, I got to go to work or something. And you're like, I'm just going to be sitting on a train for 30 minutes anyway. I can bring my Surface tablet with a controller. I can pick this game up where I left. It's like one of those things like you kind of go, yeah, okay. Like that sounds pretty cool. But to your point, I don't think many people actually do it.
It's great in theory, but I just don't think the practice makes sense. Because like even if you're going on a train, you're like, I'll just surf the web. It's just easier just to wait, unless you were like highly addicted. But even that category I still think would be pretty small.
Those games do not lend themselves to casual play. That's the point. I mean, if you're going to get on a bus or a train or whatever and while away the time, and gaming is what you want to do, you're playing like a Bejeweled kind of a game or a Candy Crush kind of a game or one of those games they advertise on TV with Arnold Schwarzenegger where it's like a strategy thing or whatever. Crossword puzzle. It's I don't know. Like I'm sure there's someone out there who's listening. It's like, no, I do that all the time, and God love you. I mean, that's fine. But I think you're right. I think the market for that is actually very small. And it falls into that category that I don't really have a name for, but it's demos well. It's one of those things where you're like, yeah, that's really cool. And then no one actually does it.
Yep. As Jamie points out, he goes, I wonder if Play Anywhere is going to be supplanted by xCloud. Which that would...
Well, yeah, I guess that's the other thing. I mean, this is something I was talking yesterday very vaguely and terribly about this idea I have about video games on the PC, et cetera. I have this other thing I've been working on that I think of as the end of ownership. And when you look at things like, Uber and Lyft and those things, which kind of eliminate the need for cars for a lot of people, or you look at all of the obvious media things, books, music, videos soon, news, even, whatever, like we're kind of getting away from like, I have a big bookshelf of books,
Yeah.
Now I just have a little Kindle, or actually I don't even have a Kindle. I have a phone and I have some cloud library of hundreds of books, and it takes up zero space. It's kind of nice. Video games is going in this direction, right? And there will always be those people. I mean, and I'm one of them, and I've resisted it so far because the game that I play, by and large, Call of Duty, is not available on a subscription of any kind. And so I can't subscribe to something that has Call of Duty. So I buy Call of Duty and I play it on a particular platform. But, being able to stream it across a service that is heterogeneous in terms of like the hardware you're going to use is super compelling, for the same reason that buying a book in Kindle form is super compelling rather than lugging around a big book. So I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, this is absolutely the future.
Yeah, it's we will see. I was here. Actually, I was trying to change my background while you were rambling, and
jeez. All right. Thank you for turning it into the ramblings of an old man.
It's just kind of what happens. Anyways, other things that are happening. I kind of like the way these things look. Microsoft, it's Pride Month at Microsoft, whatever you want to make of it. But they have these new covers, and they look kind of nice.
Yeah.
Add a little flair and flavor to your.
Is this tied to something? Is it like a day or a month of observance or something? Is what's the event, or is it just we're just doing this because it's the right thing to do?
Well, it's probably. I'm going to go with it's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
All right. Microsoft has always been a pretty open company like that, and they came out. I mean, they look nice. I don't know. I wish that you could kind of get. What I would pay money for is be able to like put any phrase on here.
So as you were just talking, I was thinking of that program that Microsoft has for the Xbox controllers, the Design Lab thing, where you can design. It's just color schemes for the most part, but you can design a controller for you, custom controller.
Yep.
And we should have something like that for type covers. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I could put Paul sucks, and like every time we travel, and I fold it up,
pink and purple colors, and
yeah, it match both
Dunkin'
of your
Donuts
phones.
colors.
Yeah, maybe we could get a little umbrella up in the corner.
A little, yes, right. Connected to a pen loop so it doesn't get lost.
Pen loop. A pen loop would be
like an umbrella loop.
A nice addition. Yeah, they should bring that back, like commemorative
spitball
edition.
in here,
Just a nice little thing. So we got WWDC next week. I got vacation next week, which, by the way, everybody, I'm assuming there's probably not going to be a podcast Thursday and Friday. Wednesday will probably still
that's
work.
Actually so.
Oh, when do you leave, though?
That's the thing. I'm going to be gone anyway. So actually not having a podcast Thursday, Friday is perfect because I'll be in the Netherlands and I'm flying home on Friday.
When do you leave? Tuesday?
It's technically Wednesday because it's at midnight 05. But
wow.
Yeah. So I leave at midnight between Tuesday and Wednesday. I guess technically that's Wednesday, right?
That is a quick trip.
Oh, yes. And the reason it is because we're going back for the home swap this summer. So there was no real reason to stay. Originally, my wife was going to come. We were going to spend some extra time, but it's like we're going to be there for 3 weeks. So
you're going to Amsterdam for the home swap this year?
Yep.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can revisit your old friend, Mr. Canal. And,
yes. That was in Harlem. But yes, I could see how he's doing.
They're not too far.
Visit the Donna Kebab store that I went to. It'd be nice.
I'm sure he's still there. I bet he remembers you. Other things. So this will be interesting because this, again, as it does every year, catches my attention. The Call of Duty reveal trailer, if you will, looks like they're going, I think, back to the classics again. Like,
can we just admit they've run out of ideas?
Yeah, I mean
let's just. My God.
But if they make just a normal shooter game, I might be very interested. We'll see.
It looks very traditional. There's not even going to be a zombie mode. It's like we're doing single player, we're doing multiplayer, we're doing co-op. It's straight up retro.
And it sounded like there was no season pass or any of that junk. It's just you get all of it.
Yeah. So that's something I need to. God, there's been this thing. There's all this stuff going on in games right now I can't stand. So obviously there's been this whole like loot box thing, and Call of Duty has fallen into this trap. And it looks like what they've done is instead of having like, basically 2 versions of the game, now they have like 5. Like 3 of them are digital, 2 are retail. And I think basically if you pay for the expensive one, you're going to get the equivalent of what was a season pass, I guess. But it's like with all this junk, like it's just garbage. It's like you get a day 1 knife, hopefully not a real knife. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait on it. I'm just going to, I need more information. So I think at E3, like everything with gaming related, they'll probably talk more about it. If you can read everything that's been published about this game, it's nothing. It's a lot like a Satya Nadella keynote. Like there's nothing. It's like nothing.
Wow.
Yikes. That was a little harsh. I'm sorry.
Well, I would definitely agree.
It's words.
Yeah. His early keynotes in his, at least the past 2 years, the last one wasn't so bad, but there's been a lot of, I came out of the woods after a weekend in a van.
That whole NASA thing, and then all of the mission control references for the first 45 minutes.
Which that was rough on so many.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm sure we've talked about it on this one. I can't remember or where, if it was in person or we were drunk at a bar. But for people who aren't aware, those guys walked up on the stage knowing the demo was going to fail. They couldn't get it working before the keynote started, we've been told, at least by some people. And they walked up there just knowing that this isn't going to work. And it was like a 10 to 15 minute reset process. And so it was...
well, I'll fall back on the thing I had said before. It's like everyone wants to point blame at something. And it's like, well, these guys didn't handle the fail particularly well. And that's true. But it's absolutely on Microsoft not to have had a backup. And by backup, I mean another set of HoloLenses and just the video reel that they later showed. Like,
yeah.
It's just completely unprofessional not to have that stuff waiting to go and bailing those two poor guys out rather than make them be horribly embarrassed by something that was not their fault.
Yep, they should. I think you just hit it on the head. What they should have had is just like a dummy cue, be like, all right, and here's the video, and then that triggers the backup plan. Which
we'd hope to do it live. It's live software. It's early days. It's a developer audience. Everyone would have understood. Here's the video. Not thank you for your time. They just leave. Funny. Oh boy.
What else is going on in the world of technology? You'll be able to share your Spotify listening habits with your friends. That's something I'm extremely not interested in. I don't need to know. I don't need
Every
to
time there's a Spotify announcement, I look for the only thing I care about, which is, are you going to offer me a way to upload my own music to the service? Or at least make it available online in a seamless way. I know you can technically do it if it's on a PC. What I want to do is not have to have it be tied to a PC. I just want it up I'm paying them already. I'm paying them a lot of money actually for the family account. Let me upload it somewhere. Anywhere. OneDrive would be fine.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, well,
it's never.
I really don't want Paul to know how much I listen to Shania Twain, so that's I'm going to need to.
It's all right. My thanks to my wife, we have a largely Taylor Swift-based playlist that I'm too embarrassed to discuss further as well. So it's okay. It's all good.
All right. We rock out the Tay-Tay, as some people refer to it. The kid likes it. She also likes Ace of Base and.
Wow, nice.
Well,
I saw the sign. That Ace of Base.
Yep.
Wow.
And then what's the other one? Spice Girls, all those things that she's figured out.
Girl affirmation songs. Those are all good.
Well, it's from what my wife will say it once, and my kid will just repeat it into the Amazon thing for.
I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want, that group. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must never get old.
The worst part is that she's figured out that if she says play everywhere, then it knows to play it over all the Sonos speakers, not just the one in the kitchen or wherever. And then,
by the way, I got back from the gym today, went upstairs. I was originally going to not take a shower until right before the podcast. I was going to just do some more work and just get going. And then I was like, you know what? I have time. There's plenty of time. Like, we're not doing the podcast till 1 anyway. Like, I'm like, I should just take a shower. I already shaved and everything. We'll just take like 20 minutes or less.
Yeah.
But I didn't bring my phone. So I couldn't listen. I usually listen to music in there, you know. Yeah. So, but I got the Sonos thing in there. So I was like, "Hey, G, play whatever," and it was like, boop, 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 and off it went. It was nice.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that just came across the headlines is, so T-Mobile and Sprint are trying to merge, and one of the conditions, which we'll see if they actually do this, is that to get the approval, they have to lay the groundwork for another mobile carrier to come online, which. We'll see how that happens. But one of the headlines that came out today is that Amazon is reportedly interested in buying Boost Mobile from Sprint, which you can only imagine how much the carriers are quaking in their boots if Amazon wants to get into the cellular game.
What if cellular was a perk of Prime?
Yeah, that's exactly where
think about that. Mm-hmm. You telling me they wouldn't instantly have millions of users right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a scary outcome for those. Because it's not like Verizon and AT&T are known for their customer service.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I'm saying? I mean, people talk about the opposite of a good business. Like, people would drop them in a heartbeat if it was easy, and if there was a viable alternative, like in a heartbeat, and that would be interesting.
Yep, you could make a lot of money if you had a website set up where you just come in and punch your phone number in, and then pick the service you want to subscribe to, hit a little button, you wait for the magic to happen, and then you're all instantly over to the new carrier.
Right. I know. I don't know if this is possible. This must be possible on phones, but because I'm on Google Fi, as you know, and so when I go to a Google phone, and the Pixel 2 XL, the 3 XL, and now the 3A XL, it has an eSIM, and so it's as simple as you go into the app, you tell it you want this to be the phone. It says, you want to put your phone number over here, and you're like, yep, and then that's just your phone. And when I do it on a third-party phone, like I just switched over to the OnePlus so I can write that review, I have to use a SIM. And whatever. I hilariously lost it in the couch last night. I'll spare you that story. But the same thing. You have the Google. It's a classic for me. I have the Google. You have the Google Fi app. Same thing. It's just the ability to switch from phone is amazing. But what you're suggesting is the ability to switch from carrier to carrier. It's like you're switching from Netflix to Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Which is the easiest thing in the world. That would transform the wireless landscape.
Yep. Nobody will do it though for that exact reason. It
doesn't behoove the companies that control it to allow that. That's the problem. You'll never get what would be good for you when it is contrary to the interests of the companies that dominate that industry.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. If they get into the mobile game, that'd be
amazing. They should make a phone. Oh wait.
Yeah, you could call it a Fire Phone. And I could have this tilting. Remember what that thing had? It's like you could tilt and like peek around corners.
And it was like a 3D effect in maps. Remember that? You could actually, the buildings would kind of tilt in space a little bit. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I spent a bunch of money on that.
It's possible I still have one of those in a box somewhere. I bet I do.
I bet it'll be a collector's item in about 300 years when Amazon is just the government. Amazon just everything.
Amazon, the government, right. I pledge allegiance to Amazon.com and to the Prime membership that binds us.
The republic for which Bezos runs. Yes. One nation under Amazon.
All hell, Lord Bezos. Got to keep the shiny dome of that statue, nice and clean.
Wow, we really hit it out of the park with this one.
I think so.
Yeah, you got anything else for today, Mr. Paul?
No, if you're waiting for it, if you're a premium subscriber, I'll be doing. I've already started it, but I'll get Ask Paul out this afternoon. That's going to be my primary focus for the next hour or two, I guess. How about you?
I'm going golfing tomorrow morning, as long as the weather holds out. I am looking forward to that. Actually, we're going to a friend of mine who actually you wouldn't have run into it, but he lives in Berlin.
Interesting.
Yeah, he lives in Berlin. He used to live out in San Francisco. Whatever. He got married over there. Does he know
Marcus?
I connected them via DM. I don't know if they ever met. But when he moved to Berlin, I'm like, hey, Marcus lives there. If you need a friend or help, he's probably someone to reach out to. Anyways, so he and his girlfriend at the time moved from San Francisco over to Berlin. They got married. They're having a wedding reception tomorrow night. Just the reception. This is like the best part.
But it's home. It's like where you are, not in Berlin.
But there's no wedding. Like, we don't have to go to the wedding. We just get to go to the party.
Oh, it's the best kind of wedding.
Yeah. And so a bunch of my friends are in town. We're all going golfing tomorrow, and I'm sure I will be having some alcohol very early in the morning tomorrow. It's typically.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the Miami trip kind of prepped your system for this. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I've finally detoxed from that, and now I'm ready to start loading back up again. And then I will. Sure. I would say I would detox down on my vacation, but my in-laws are going, so that's probably not going to happen.
Oh no, you should just bring a bottle of scotch with you.
Yeah, I think it's already packed.
There you go.
So, all right, that wraps it up for today, everybody. We will be back on Monday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you right back here next time. All right. Somebody said I would pay to see Paul scrambling to find the SIM in a couch. I would too.
You know my story about that, right? on the eve of I guess it was the winter trip to the Netherlands when we were doing that trade show out there.
Oh, right.
It fell into my couch, and because of the way it was designed, it ended up inside the couch, and I could hear it rattling around in the couch. So I actually overturned it. I got a saw, like a jigsaw. Mm-hmm. My wife and my daughter came in from wherever they were, and this is what they see is me straddling the couch, which is upside down, with a saw in my hand. And I was like, they're like, what are you doing?
Give it
and I'm
back.
like, I know I can open this thing up without breaking it. And she was like, whatever. And I cut like a hole like this. So we still have the couch, but anyway, we got it. My wife had to get in with her smaller hand to get the little SIM card out, and it was my Google Fi SIM at Project Fi SIM at the time when I was using AT&T, but we were going international, so I was putting it in the phone, right, to use it international. Last night was basically doing the same thing because except switching over the main Project Google Fi SIM to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Freaking thing fell right inside. It was exactly the same location on a different couch, but this couch is built properly. So even though it was way down in there, this fabric that, is solid, so it can't slide somehow mysteriously in there. So my wife, again, with her smaller hand, was able to, I used the flashlight on the phone, and she's looking, and she could see it, and we got it. It was a much quicker and less buzz cutty kind of solution.
Well, the good thing is you learned your lesson the first time about not changing the SIM while sitting on a couch, but
I got to tell you, it is impossible for me not to think of what happened every time I have the SIM thing out. So I was actually being really careful with it. I even had something under it. No, it was like one of those perfect. It was like that 76ers shot at the end of the game 7 in the where it was like dunk dunk like this. The SIM card it popped out, and I'm like, I got it because I had the little tray I was using, and it goes dunk dunk. It went right up this thing. I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Anyway, I got it back. Thanks for caring.
I care deeply.
Okay.
All right. Catch you later.
Bye.